Hey there, it's Ben from Pattern Profits bringing you the weekend update and weekly watch list for the week of September 19th. First, we're going to take a look at the IWO anchored VWAP from off of that June low, trying to hold there as support, close below that level, below 5065 cloud, below 1020 cloud. Needs to reclaim that anchored VWAP from off of the low just to get back into the pinch. Would have work to do on the upside, 227.68, a level to be aware of. You have that anchored VWAP as well from off of the swing high there in August to be aware of, even if it can make the move and climb back into the pinch here. Anchored VWAP off of that most recent low above as well. So plenty of work to do there. To the downside, 217.34, one level to be aware of, not much between there and the prior lows, 199.13 and then 192.88 to the downside below that 217.34 level. Into the week ahead, a lot of biotech names still kind of setting up, and we'll just have to see if the market can find its footing. Maybe some of these break higher. We'll again just have to watch the group and some of these individual names. AMLX, one that I'll be watching, had the gap here. Little triangle setting up here now, 9% short float. 3 days to cover this part of a much larger pattern, 33.41, that pivot above. This kind of acting like a handle here, the big gap there. So just want to see if it can come out of that triangle to the upside, maybe the catalyst to push it through 33.41. And again, that 9% short float, multiple days to cover. If it can come out of here, that could put some pressure on the shorts and create a squeeze higher, especially if the group in general is strong. Just be aware a lot of these don't have the fundamentals to back them up, so it's really just a quick get in, get that pop, and get out. Not something I'd want to hang out in too long. They do not have the fundamentals behind them. Another one watching, same group, biotech, RYTM, had a secondary. It was looking good, blasted off there last week on Wednesday. Then they announced the secondary, came in back below that pivot. 26, the level to watch now. That was the secondary pricing level. Closed Friday at 24.23. Tried to recover some of that dip. So kind of use that 26. You see I have an alert set there. That $26 level to see if it can reclaim, and then can use that level as my pivot and to bench risk. This is one of the strongest names as far as price performance on the year. So keeping an eye on RYTM. And again, how is the rest of the group acting? One that does have earnings and some liquidity behind it, that's Vertex, VRTX, setting up a power 3 here, right up against that anchored VWAP from off of the high. That's where we closed. Volume shelf point of control is right there as well. So just want to see that push up and out. Can bench that really tightly. 10, 20, 50, 65 cloud, all right there. Want to see it on strength. Take out that prior high, 305.95 there. If it does push up and out, want to quickly take out that high. But I like that you can bench this really tight on strength. Saw good volume there on Friday. Some of that may be skewed because of quad witching OPEX, but still worth keeping an eye on. Another one in the group, AXSM. Now this closed just below that anchored VWAP from off of the high volume gap. Want to see it quickly reclaim that. Otherwise, it's definitely at risk failure here. If it does, that 50-65 cloud likely where it's headed. Saw really quiet volume here as it consolidated. And then picked up a little bit late last week, but nothing significant. So want to see a quick recovery back into the pinch, back above 1020 cloud there, and then see if it can take out that high at 71.98. Any weakness from here, certainly below Friday's low, would not be a good sign. Like I said, probably going to test 50-65 cloud below. If that does fail, you also have a pivot there at 47.40. That cup with handle pattern, AXSM. One more to look at in that group, PLRX. This is another one that had this big gap, huge volume, consolidated sideways, tried to come out of there. General market brought it back in, Friday, you got to move back to the pivot. 2217 is that pivot. And inside day on Friday comes out over 2374. You do have 2217 pivot, 1020 cloud, and anchored VWAP off of that swing high there just below. A little lower, you have the anchored VWAP off of the high volume gap. Just below, you have 5065 cloud there too. So again, and one that you can bench tight, but would like to see that happen on strength up and out and at least hold that 2217 pivot level. PLRX. Also going to take a look at cross-country healthcare, CCRN. This is a bigger cup with handle pattern. Here's your cup. Handle's a little deep there, but nice recovery. Can't push up and through though. 30-40, that standard pivot. Again, acted very well though in a weak market. You see that action there, that inside day. That was all within the wick of Thursday, despite a really weak market. Strong recovery late in the day on Friday. So I want to see if that can push up and out, get some upside continuation there, and get through that 30-40 pivot on big volume. Did see pocket pivot volume back here. You've got hints at bigger volume there too. So we'll see what volume looks like as it pushes up and through. If it pushes 30-40, the standard pivot there, CCRN. Good fundamentals behind that one. Also keeping an eye on PI. This part of a larger cup with handle pattern. We'll zoom in here more to the handle. You had the earnings gap back here, anchored VWAP attached, trying to hold that level right there into 1020 cloud. Hammer look to it on Friday. Can it quickly reclaim that anchored VWAP from off of the gap, push back above 1020 cloud, and then take out that descending trend line? That's what we're looking for there. And then you've got that high. You want to be able to take out that prior high, and that comes in at 99 here. So if you can get up and through there, maybe take out that century mark as well. Something to be aware of on the upside. Again, that's PI. Couple more to take a look at. TA. This one quite thin, but bigger volume coming in, picking up. You have an inside day there from Friday, comes out over 59.10. You also have the pivot there, 59.70, that pivot above. 7% short float with 8 days to cover here. If I zoom out, you'll see it's part of a larger cup with handle pattern. So just want to see that push up and over. So 59.10, that first level. If it can get up out of that inside day to the upside, maybe the catalyst to push it through that 59.70 pivot. And then we'll see what volume looks like. Just be aware it does trade pretty thin. One more, we're going to take a look at TH, which had a really nice run over the summer, has kind of consolidated sideways. A couple things I'm watching with this one. We talked about this one previously, the shakeout back here, then had a nice run, came back in. Possible that this is forming a right shoulder and could roll over here. Certainly could. You'd have left shoulder, head, right shoulder. But at the same time, it's holding that anchored VWAP from off of the high. Basically moved sideways last week when we saw significant weakness in the general market. You have that anchored VWAP, 1020 cloud, 50 portion of 5065 cloud right there too. 1567, that prior high. So I kind of like the idea, if I was going to get involved, taking this closer to here where I could bench it really tight. If it rolls over, I'm out rather quickly. But that's an early entry opportunity ahead of that 1567 pivot above. 17% short float, 4 days to cover in the name. So big volume back here, quiet volume as it consolidated. Just want to see what it looks like as it comes out of there, and if it does. As always, keep an eye on the general market too. We've had some significant weakness over the last week. So we will see how they act and if IWO, representative of small cap growth, can hold that anchored VWAP, reclaim it from off of the low. That's all I have into the week ahead. Hope you have a great trading week, and I will see you over on FinTwit.